The old, antiquated system of paper documents is being dismantled and replaced with artificial intelligence, and millions of MAGA fans are celebrating this without even considering the replacement, which will be digital. Blockchain technology, which appeared mysteriously in the Bitcoin white paper, is well suited for tagging and tracing every living person on the planet and every transaction we make. In the current system, a birth certificate of title is registered for every child born. This has provided a paper record with minimal information. But with biometric data, the new system is capable of assigning a digital ID to every living man, woman, and child born. Locked into the blockchain from day one, every person's carbon footprint can be monitored, their compliance measured, and their overall value to the system can be calculated in real time. Blockchain is an immutable, time-stamped record of every interaction and exchange. And it's not just individuals who will have a digital ID. Every business, every product, and everything we interact with will have a digital ID. This is called tokenization, and it's happening right now. From the perspective of control, it is the most effective method of controlling human behavior that the world has ever known. And while many argue that the blockchain is not capable of doing all this, the problem has already been solved. It's called Hashgraph, and it appears to be ready for deployment. Hashgraph is exponentially more efficient than blockchain. Able to handle hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, it uses practically zero energy. It is the perfect digital branding iron for human chattel in the new AI digital control grid. Hedera, the company behind the Hashgraph system, is already partnered and connected with major corporations and governments. The Institute of International Finance has tapped Hedera as the only Layer 1 tech to explore blockchain solutions for tokenized financial assets. And this is how the carbon tax will be calculated.
Has there been a response to this? Like, is this something that's...
I talked to the Biden administration, incoming administration, and they were like, well, this seems too politically difficult. And I was like, well, this is obviously a thing that should happen.
And even some sort of an incremental increase over time.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to
warn people.
Yeah, say if you just say it's coming, people will automatically make the changes.
That seems so reasonable.
Yeah, I agree.
And they were like,
They thought it was like too politically difficult. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's like at least half the reason you got elected. So why don't you just fight for that? You know, there's just one thing that will matter: put a price on carbon.
That would be the best option
for sure.
That seems like it'd be such a good idea.
Like, what do 90% of economists think? And like, they all agree. Okay, we should do that.
It was too politically difficult for Elon to introduce a carbon tax under President Biden because the MAGA cult would have resisted it. But they have become cheerleaders for the new system and all things Elon. So now the gates are wide open. Democratic Party member Maxine Waters recently introduced bipartisan stablecoin legislation. This aligns with what the Trump administration has been proposing and is expected to be passed into law without any pushback. This will create a digital dollar backed by U.S. Treasury bills and other debt instruments. But the United States has been bankrupt for decades, and a complete financial crash is imminent. Once the dollar dies, the already legally accepted stablecoins will then be pegged to Bitcoin, and the new digital system will be the savior. It will be celebrated for saving us from a depression, securing our borders, and protecting the children. And the carbon tax will begin.
But it's really fundamental. Unless there's a price put on carbon,
we're never going to be able to make the transition that we need to in time, correct?
Yeah. And the only way to do that is basically with a carbon tax.
Greg Reese reporting.